I call the Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
My question is to the Assistant Minister for Defence. I refer the Assistant Minister to his earlier response that the Parliamentary Budget Office figures were wrong. The head of the PBO, Mr Phil Bowen, has told a Senate Estimates Committee this afternoon these figures are factually based, and they're based on the salaries and wages budget estimates for the Department of Defence and arms of the services. Given these figures are factually based, when will the Assistant Minister admit that the money is already in the budget and his government still wants to cut the pay and condition of Australian soldiers?
I call the Honourable the Assistant Minister for Defence.
Thank the Leader of the Opposition for his question regarding the Parliamentary Budget Office reporting in terms of numbers. There is no question that the Parliamentary Budget Office looked at both figures for uniformed military and civilians. There is no question that those numbers increase year on year, and as stated previously, those increases cover 1,500 new soldiers, sailors, airmen and women, over 1,000 new gap year participants, and of course a 27th pay, which is $250 million, small money compared to the $16 billion, Leader of the Opposition, when the Labor government was last in power. That had been pulled out. But let's talk about cuts, shall we, about what things have been cut and where. I noticed the member for Batman here, of course, who was Parliamentary Secretary in the last Defence government, or the last Labor government. And the Parliamentary Secretary, of course, wanted to take away the single return travel home for Christmas from 22,000 of our people. 22,000, that is what the last Labor government cut. That was their Christmas present to our troops. You can't get to go home, and that was stopped by this side. It was this side that stopped Labor from cutting harshly in those areas. And I find it extraordinary that the Leader of the Opposition would walk in here and talk about cuts up to $16 billion worth of cuts. Labor took defence spending to the lowest level since 1938. The lowest level. Extraordinary. 1.56% of GDP. Well, let's talk about what this government has done. We've taken funding back to 1.8% of GDP. We took a funding envelope to the last election, three things that the last Labor government could never do. Three things. Number one, there will be no cuts. No cuts in defence.
Minister will resume his seat. The Leader of the Opposition on a point of order.
I rise on a point of order. Its relevance. I just asked one question to the minister.
What is the point of relevance?
Well, its relevance, Madam Speaker. Well, I think that's clear.
Well,
we asked him if the money's in the budget. Why won't he?
The member will resume his seat.
It's not the Senate bill. There's no supplementary there.
The minister will resume his seat and will refer to members by their correct titles, as he's been reminded earlier today. Conditionally.
We promised that Labor could never deliver. Number one, there would be no cut to defence. Number two, we would return the budget to 2% of GDP. And number three, that any savings within defence would be reinvested. Three things that Labor couldn't do, three things that this government is doing daily.